The Count of Monte Cristo is the kind of adventure that you only experience once in a lifetime. It was a Shakespearean adventure and tragedy and romance all wrapped into one. I don't know if anyone has done it the way Dumas has done it. Like, he did his big one. This felt very Shakespearean to me at times. If Shakespeare had written novels instead of plays, people kind of entering in and out of the stage, poisonous schemes and sword fights and duels. It was absolute fun to see all the puzzle pieces come together. There are a couple of themes that I've noted that were in this book that really resonated with me. First, I want to talk about the idea of forgiveness. Do we choose forgiveness or vengeance? Especially in the idea of the limits of human justice, which this book deeply explores. The Count of Monte Cristo calls himself providence. He is justice handed by God himself. What he believes is he's carrying out divine justice. And I want to talk about this because I think, even though I didn't grow up religious, I feel like there are a lot of values that have been embedded to me. Just growing up in the US and growing up in Western culture, there are definitely a lot of values that you just naturally inherit. I always saw forgiveness as something that was kind of like a moral requirement to humanity, just based on literature and the way that we talk about forgiveness as a culture. Forgiveness is the key to peace and letting go, and it's kind of a moral requirement to humanity. And I just don't know if I always agree with that now. I think I'm questioning, can forgiveness and letting go be mutually exclusive? And why is forgiveness always kind of spoken about as if it's a vessel to letting go or to peace? And also this idea of to deserve forgiveness, this idea of deserving things. What do we deserve if we're good? What do we deserve if we're bad? I mean, this book is a bit more straightforward and black and white about what it is to be a good person and a bad person, and who deserves goodness, who deserves badness, I guess, or misfortune. I don't even know if I believe in like deserve. Like, I feel that I am very intentional about being a good person, but that doesn't mean that I deserve a good life, because very good people don't have good lives and very bad people have pretty nice lives. I don't really believe in like divine justice or divine entitlement or like this idea of deserving of anything. I have more thoughts about the idea of deserve or this idea of like moral entitlement that sometimes people feel that they've inherited in my offline thoughts. Even the idea of salvation after suffering. After suffering or after like a really hard time, good things will happen. I think that world is very neutral, and that makes me deeply uncomfortable, of course. And I think we kind of storytell a lot to ourselves to try to cope with that fact. The ideas and like faith is just as powerful as if like divinity like actually existed. Our rituals and what we see as sacred and like the ideas and storytelling that we give ourselves. Like the idea of God is just as powerful as God himself. Like human storytelling is just so powerful. What we tell ourselves, what we tell each other. But I think I was handed a lot about these ideas of forgiveness. I think I'm just trying to deconstruct. I don't think that I've come to an answer. I don't even know if there's any right or wrong. Like, is it a necessary requirement? Is it a necessary vessel to letting go or to giving yourself peace? It's deeply interesting to me just to think about. The Count really is like, for most of the book, on this mission of revenge, and you're absolutely rooting for him. Like, I was really hoping that he wouldn't go easy on any of his perpetrators, to be honest, or the people who framed him. But there is this conversation and realization that he is human. He's not God himself, like handing out justice to everyone. I do think that Dumas finds forgiveness a little bit overrated. I don't often read stories of revenge. I deeply enjoyed this story. And the two other less, mischievous and dark themes within the book is love as anchors. The Count of Monte Cristo was only able to find true salvation, not in this revenge that he was able to pull through, but really in the people that he met along the way, and that it's the people who made life meaningful for him and kept him here. After he finished his mission, he would have been lost without the people that he ended up loving. People as anchors, people to tie yourself to the world, tie yourself to the grounds of the earth, because if not, what do you have? And I think that resonates deeply with my values of people are really all that we have, and everything we do is to love and be loved, to be honest. If you look down deep enough, ultimately that's what it is. It's always about that for everyone, and Dumas, I think, believes the same. And the most important theme, most famous end quotes of the book, which is to hope and wait. To hope in the face of despair. I mean, the Count of Monte Cristo, or Edmond Dantes, goes through 14 years of prison, unbelievable strife, and the wrongful death of his father, and there's just so much that happens, and he still prevails, and it's always, when all hope feels lost, to just wait. To hope in the face of despair, regardless if you have any evidence of things getting better, purely because that is faith. That is a form of faith. Believe in things regardless if you have evidence for it. Oftentimes people think of religious faith, but I think about faith in the form of hope, in the form of love. Even if you've yet to experience love or any evidence of having it again, like the Count of Monte Cristo has it, to have some sort of faith, even if you've been given just a terrible misfortune of your life. There's oftentimes he felt better off dead, but to hope and wait, even if he has no evidence of it ever getting better, if he has no evidence of him having any power against these institutional and wealthy powers. This is quite a fantastical book in a way. It's quite a fantasy but it's about faith, right? Hoping and waiting. And it's because everything works out so perfectly, but in a very satisfying way that is not boring at all and not predictable. There are so many twists and turns that are so enjoyable. Essentially, that was my greatest lesson from this book, is that when all hope is lost, to just continue to hope. Wait for better days, wait for love, wait for justice. When times are dark, to just persevere and keep going, and to allow yourself to start over, and to believe that good things can happen even if they never did. But this was a fantastic read, so much fun. I'm so glad I got through it. It drags on a little bit sometimes that happens with the classics, but honestly, like, the first 500 pages of this book is so worth it. The bits when he's in Italy and the bits when he's Sinbad the sailor on the island, that can drag on a little bit, but it's so worth it for like the first half of this book and also like the last 300 pages of this book. Wow, I haven't really enjoyed myself like that in a book for a long time. This was great. Highly recommend. A classic to be read.